Oh, fuck, it's recording. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another podcast with Laszlo and Eric. Except this time, no Eric. He is not here. But instead of him, I have 2 or 3 other people at this table.
I feel like there was a pause when you said Eric wasn't here, and I felt like you were about to shit talk him. And
I was going to make a joke about him being dead.
You didn't think would be appropriate.
Well, I was going to make a joke about him being dead, but I've done that too many times. Like that time when we were making videos together, and then he decided to quit making videos again, and I went home and made a video about how he died. And I was like, but don't worry, I'll still make videos. And I made videos for like a consistent 2 weeks and then gave up too. Well, I forgot. I got too busy.
Right. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, it's fine. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves to the microphone?
Yeah, definitely. I'm John Crandall. I'm good buddies with Laszlo and Eric.
What do you do, John Crandall?
Yeah, what do you
What
do?
do you mean, what do I do? I'm a server at SoCal. I'm a pizza salesman, basically. I got the free pizza hookups for real.
Pizza salesman at SoCal?
No.
So
I work for Papa John's. I do like marketing and stuff for them. You know, I basically just go to apartments and sell pizzas to people at apartments, and then they give me free pizza coupons. So it's pretty dope. And then I also, I serve over at a SoCal Fish Taco Shop in downtown Gilbert. If you haven't been, it's awesome. The fish tacos there are great. So that's pretty much me.
No, Sam.
My name is Sam Allen, and I am a personal trainer and photographer.
That's true.
That is true.
And a rapper and a piano player and a million other different things.
Just a bunch of random things.
Yeah, actor. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been.
I'm just like
model.
Very good at being mediocre at a lot of things. That is my talent.
Well, I'm not even good at being mediocre, so.
Hey, me, dude.
Hello, world. My name's Aimee. D. That's about it. I'm a server at the Whiskey Row in downtown Gilbert. Gets pretty exciting over there. See a lot of crazy stuff.
Dude, I bet you probably have to put up with some of the worst customers that come to Gilbert,
I wouldn't
though.
say that. I mean,
No?
you're one of those customers. So.
I usually am. Yeah.
I've never been there yet.
The worst.
You haven't been to Whiskey Row yet?
Well, no. I mean, I don't drink, so there's really no reason for me to show
They
up.
have
I guess that's
food.
fair,
They
yeah.
don't have lobster, though.
Yeah, I know.
Lobster
Not a lot
tacos,
of people-
SoCal Fish Taco.
I wish we could get a sponsor.
Us currently wearing lobster on lobster.
Yeah, wearing a lobster tank top I found at Goodwill, and a lobster shirt that I found at, I don't know, Forever 21 probably. I can't remember.
They match quite well.
Yup.
You just have the perfect body to fit just about anything. You know what I
I
mean?
guess,
like,
yeah.
Like, you can really, you get the full
I do
spectrum
like
going.
doing a lot of different outfits, because it seems silly to me to like try to stick to one look.
Right.
But that could also just be because I have like, I don't know, dissociative identity disorder, which I don't. Well, I meant like I could have like an identity crisis, so that's why I look different all the time.
Right.
Whereas dissociative identity disorder is multiple personalities, which, I mean, I guess you could say I would do in terms of like staged name versus like real, but not like the actual mental disease where I'm different people.
Do you have a stage name?
Laszlo. I
No,
mean, Laszlo is just my middle name,
His
so like,
full
in a
name
way.
is Jonathan.
Really?
Yeah, you know, yeah, my first name's Jonathan, my middle name's Laszlo. My last name's Mark, so I have 3 first names essentially.
It's like Christopher Chance Scott.
I was named for both of my grandpas, because I got John Mark and then Laszlo Gaspar, and so Jonathan Laszlo.
Gaspar, that's a cool name.
Yep, that's my mom's maiden name. Gaspars are from Hungary. Gaspar the First was the personal knight for the first queen of Hungary.
That's badass.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I got a family crest. I can't remember what it looks like. I haven't seen it in a while, which is related to a question I asked last podcast
Yeah.
that one of our
Yeah.
listeners wanted me to ask each new guest.
Uh-huh.
Eric didn't like the idea, but he's not here, so
So,
now we'll ask.
fuck you.
So you know how some families in like medieval times have like a family crest where it's like an animal symbol and then colors,
Right.
kind of like Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
because they all have like, everyone watches Game of Thrones, so they know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
What about your family's crest? What would it be if you could choose?
What would it be or what is it? Because I know what
You
mine
have
is.
the
I
crane
have a
crest?
family. Yeah, like the crane crest.
All right,
It's
what's
not
that?
exciting. Like,
Well,
it's kind
like-
of a bummer. It's a crane.
The crane.
And the colors are white and blue.
That's
So,
so
like,
White
the
and blue
colors
is a
are
good
like...
combo.
Yeah. What's that?
I said white and blue is a good combo.
Yeah, I liked
love
the
it.
color. Like, the white and blue is really cool. It was just like as a kid growing up, you know, like you see those like cool ones that are like lions and bears and like a hawk.
Dragons.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh, cool. Mine's a crane.
I think
Like
mine.
I deliver babies.
Symbolic.
Woo!
I mean, cranes are cool birds.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. What's that?
I think the real Gaspar crest is also, it's either blue and white or blue and yellow, and it's got a horse.
That's cool.
But if you could choose your own, like make your own.
If I
new
could choose
crest-
my own, it would easily be like a grizzly bear.
All right.
You know, like a huge, big grizzly bear, and then it would probably be like green and black or green and white. You
I've
know.
always loved green and white. I've liked the idea of a green and white with like a stag.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Makes you think of like a hunting lodge.
Mhm. Well, it's like that family in. It's literally like that family in Game of Thrones. I
The
love
Baratheons.
the
Baratheons.
Baratheons.
Yeah, but they're yellow and black.
Are they really? Well, they're.
I think.
Who's the green and white?
Yeah, there's a king.
The
There's
king.
the younger
Oh,
brother,
well,
like
the
the younger
Baratheons
brother of the
split apart,
Baratheons.
right?
Yeah,
I watched up to season 2 and then I quit for a long time and just watched the last season. So there's a lot
good
of
way to
like
do it.
background info.
1,
that I
2,
lost.
7, and then
Yikes.
3, 4, 5, 6 later.
Yep. I mean, like, I know a little bit because you see it all over the fucking place, but like I
Yeah.
forgot a lot. So I've been like researching. it all
Yeah.
the time.
Oh yeah. That's okay. Sam watched
So I guess
the
like, it makes sense.
first and second season of Game of Thrones without seeing the subtitles for the Dothraki. So like he literally doesn't understand what's going on in the scene.
One of my favorite movies I used to watch without the subtitles for some characters, and then I like found out that you were supposed to actually read the subtitles. I had interpreted it as like intentional because the character's like in a different country, so I thought like you weren't supposed to understand what they're talking about.
Right.
Nah, it didn't have the
No,
subtitles.
no.
And it was
you
weird
just
like
hit the
going back
subtitles.
and watching it, and I was like, oh okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that
Makes more
important of
sense.
dialogue, but
It's a good question now. Good question, Sam.
Family Crest.
Oh, if I had to pick, and I wasn't even thinking about what my family crest would be. I was too enthralled by Game of Thrones.
Be the
talk.
Dallas Cowboys star. And it would just be blue and white.
Actually, I believe Amy's crest is a star, is it not?
I don't
I think it's.
know.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's
it's-
French,
There is
so
a
it's
star.
that would like make sense, you know.
It actually is Spain that has that original coat of arms.
Oh, really? They're the ones like started it.
I guess so.
That's pretty cool.
Which star? I mean, there's a lot of different shapes of stuff.
Eh.
Oh,
It
see, that's
isn't
cool.
straight, which is interesting.
What kind of star is it? What does it look like?
Just a 5-point star, so a 5-point yellow star,
But it's
but it's sitting.
That's your crest itself. That's awesome.
Yeah. and
Okay.
It's got a knight on top with a bunch of very floral designs. It's blue, yellow.
And a little
And
bit of
red,
red.
a little
Yeah,
red in there.
a little red. You'd think blue, yellow, and red wouldn't go together, but like it fits pretty
They-
well in it.
they're
The
You know, it's
primary
like a
colors,
light-
John. Of course they go
Yeah,
together.
right, that's fair. That's
Yeah, I
fair.
did. Yeah, see, that looks familiar. So you all know what country your ancestors come from?
Kind of, sort of, but no. My dad was adopted in like a closed adoption. So,
I'm
like, the
sorry.
records are sealed and everything, so he was never able to go back. Like, when he was 19, he paid to have a private investigator, like, find his mom, because he wanted to try and, you know, like, find out his family history and everything. But at that time, she ended up having, you know, it kind of stings because she had a family and she was married again, but, you know, she said she didn't want to meet my dad. So, like, it's kind of one of those weird, like, I know where my mom's from. Like, I'm basically, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to change, like, I'm just like an Eastern European mutt.
Yeah.
You know, like just a little bit of everything is up in there. So, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. You know, weird fact.
Mm-hmm.
I know my grandmother's done, you know, family tree stuff and a lot more digging in
Yeah.
that background.
Mhm.
But it's been so long since we've talked about it the last time that I don't really remember what she has discovered so far.
Yeah.
Right. And then Sam, in the middle of smoke. So, Or
Smoke
your
break.
family
Da-na-na-na,
before America.
Oh, I know I am German mostly. And,
It's the best to be.
Definitely a little Swedish.
German is pretty great.
German and Swedish primarily. I don't know a whole lot of ancestry, to be honest with you. I just know kind of where they originated.
It's so crazy to me how so many people, at least in like the country that we live in, like don't know where their ancestors are from. It's weird because my mom was born in Germany, and so her parents were from Hungary and Yugoslavia. And so it's weird for me because like I always grew up with like that being important, of like me identifying with like my European like line of existence. And so it's weird how many people I know that like don't know where they're from. But even my dad's side is like they're like from like one family came from England, one family came from Ireland, but in like the 1840s.
Okay.
And so all I know is like, oh, then they were in Pennsylvania, and then I think Iowa, and then my dad was born in Texas. But to me, like, none of that mattered. I was like, oh, it kind of doesn't mean anything to me. Versus my real, like, solid, like, European heritage. Like, that's where I'm from. But at the same time, it's interesting because at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter. Because you have that notion that, like, your blood, like, carries some essence, but I guess that could not be true. And then, like, your own right here is what determines it. But, because, like, as much as I like saying that I'm, like, Hungarian and German, I'm probably just American, especially when I go over there. Because I go over there every now and then, and, like, I don't really realize how American I am until I go abroad. And it's always a weird, like, identity crisis of, like, oh, fuck, I'm so
American.
So American. Yeah, it sucks sometimes. When I was in the Czech Republic, I was fine. And Hungary, I was, like, a little bit fine. But, like, I don't know, when I went to Morocco, sometimes I was like, oh, man, I'm real American right now.
They can tell. Everyone just can point you out.
Same with, like, I don't know, Spain and Portugal. Spain's nice. I want to go back there, I think, the most. I went to Granada. It's an awesome city.
Oh, that's
and
right.
a history of
Sam
Muslim
pouring wine
Spain.
for his girlfriend. Super sweet.
That's very good.
What a guy. Anyways, back to it. Spain.
I said Muslim Spain's history is really cool to me.
Muslim Spain history?
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, there's a time where there was like an empire that like had spread across North Africa that was mostly Muslim, and they had gone across that little bit of sea into Spain, and southern Spain for a while was owned by Muslim. That's where the what's it called? There's a term for it. There's Andalusia, which is the region.
Yeah.
And then there's a term for those people, because there was a lot of, well, it was a mix of Morocco and then the rest. And so a lot of art, it was interesting because I did this study abroad class where I went to Spain, Portugal, and Morocco.
Uh-huh.
And it's
I remember
interesting to
that.
see
Yeah.
how the indigenous people of Morocco, their art mixed with like the Arab empires or the caliphate. I don't know the real term.
Mm-hmm.
The mix of that, how it influenced Spain, and then to see how Spain has obviously influenced Mexico, and then Mexico has influenced Arizona. So you can see some architecture and art has like kind of really come from North Africa and like spread all the way into like affecting the Southwest.
Right.
So it's all the same like art and architecture.
The buildings,
has really lived through.
Well, I mean, like, and that's always been a thing that they've talked about before, about how, you know, South Americans had, like, this architecture, you know, like, that was very similar, very, very similar to, like, the pyramids and everything, you know,
they
before
had,
they
they
were
had
even...
developed their own, well, it depends, because there's a lot of different South American culture. And then
That's true.
also how it goes the other direction, too, of plants being indigenous to the Americas, being spread over to the other side of the world, because it blew my mind to see a lot of agave and especially prickly pear, you know, the cactus we have here.
Yeah.
It's all over Spain and Morocco. So
That's so cool.
but again, it's because of the Spanish influence on
They brought that
Southwest
plant
here.
over and started
they
planting
plant
that
it
plant.
back,
Yeah.
and it's flourished because they're also arid climates like here. So those cactus, because like all species of cactus except one only come from the Americas.
Yeah.
It's just over time they've been brought over both as ornamental and as food sometimes.
Dude, that's so cool to know.
How
Or
could
in-
it only be one
One,
that isn't? Where did it come from?
there's one species of cactus that exists in Africa, but then most of the arid plants in Africa are xerophytic is a type of plant. There's a different type of plant that's like a cactus but different, so it's not considered a cactus, it's considered a different, like, I guess, category of plant.
Yeah.
And I don't know as much about them. I know a lot more about cactus just because I think they're cool.
I want a cactus tattoo. Side
I was just thinking the
Same.
same.
I know, I've been
Seriously.
planning it, or a giant swirl flower in blue.
That would be sick.
Just like on my arm.
The green and then like the same color of that like
Do you know-
flower on
Do
too
you
would
like
be
red?
awesome. Yeah.
Do you know why saguaro cacti are usually white and yellow?
No.
It's because saguaro cacti are majorly pollinated by bats.
Jing.
What? That's so cool.
At nighttime, like red and orange, those colors are a little harder to see at night, but something
Right.
that's white or yellow is going to stand out.
Right.
And so it's that white color because it's easier for the bats to find, and then at night the bats pollinate.
But I thought bats were blind.
No,
Thought
no.
they like.
They're not
Is it like they
blind.
can barely fucking see? Is that what it is?
Some of them can see a little bit, but I think it's mostly a saying. I mean, they're not the best at sight. They do
Yeah.
have. I mean, they rely on their
Sonar.
sonar
They
a
just
lot
don't
better.
need it.
Yeah, they
'Cause
don't need
live
it
in
as
a
much. 'Cause
cave, so they don't need to see because
that's true.
they don't rely on it because they're in a dark place that they can't see in.
It's kind of like dolphins, right? Like dolphins aren't blind, but they use a sonar. But you know,
Yeah.
just immediately
It's just-
stereotype dolphins as being blind. Although, fun fact about dolphins: did
Yeah,
you
blind
know?
as a dolphin. Never heard of it.
Yeah, seriously, seriously. But dolphins sleep with one eye open.
Huh.
Yeah.
Bunny trail.
What? Bunny trail.
You were going into something.
Bunny trail. Oh, like a tangent. I see. It was a good word for tangent. I like
It's
it.
just
Bunny
more
trail?
fun.
A bunny trail.
I've
It
never
is.
Bunny
seen
trail.
that.
You're going on a bunny trail.
It's- going on
He's
a
on
bunny.
what? Tangent.
You know, you're getting like excited like a bunny, so you start running real
Because
quick.
if you've ever seen a
it's
bunny run, it's like really unpredictable.
Yeah.
But going back to dolphins.
Sorry.
Why would they sleep with one eye open if they have sonar?
That's a good question.
Do they only use sonar when they or whatever?
I think they use sonar mostly for hunting. I don't know if they
But
use
But
it
do
for
they have to?
communication.
Do they have to make that sound every time they use the sonar? Is it by,
I
like,
think there's a lot
echoes?
of different sounds and clicks. There's a way they produce it. I'm not too sure. I know they have that melon, like the big thing in their head. Other than their brain, there's like a specific like cavity in their head that helps them produce that sound. But I don't know a lot
That's kinda
about
That is
the
cool.
cetacean people or
Dolphins
animals.
are like so smart.
Yeah.
Really smart.
Dolphins are smart.
Never heard smart as a dolphin either.
Yeah, you have probably.
I'm sure you have. Dolphins are pretty smart. They're also kind of shitty as an animal, at least in behavioral things.
So they're more like
I mean,
humans
so
than
you
we
don't want to
thought.
have a
Well, yeah.
dolphin as a pet. Don't
Yeah,
pet
no.
animal.
Well, no, that
Damn it.
they'd also get depressed if you like keep them in just a pool.
Well, then they'd be a real shitty pet.
Yeah. I don't know. They seem to, I mean, like humans, be more unnecessarily aggressive,
Yeah.
or just like fuck things up just for
On purpose.
no reason, just to fucking do it. Versus other animals having like a purpose, or,
Right.
like why they would do it.
Right.
Same with killer whales. Killer whales are one of the only other animals that hunt for taste. Killer whales will hunt specifically baby blue whales, and they'll only eat the tongue and they'll leave the rest of the body behind.
No.
Because usually animals, when like they kill something, they're gonna eat the whole animal.
Yeah.
It's like it's just to get
I never
food.
heard that before.
That's,
I-
that's
I
crazy.
learned that from a marine biology class I took.
Ooh, that'd be such a cool class.
It's
Dude,
so fun.
Laszlo, like, if you want to talk about someone who has taken the coolest classes in college, like, you know what I mean? That one class you have every semester that you did not think was going to be great, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I didn't even know what that was, and I loved it. I feel like he is perfect. He is the perfect talent for picking those classes because he already knows how great they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, and he
Marine
takes these kind of
biology
classes
is
all the
something.
Oh, yeah,
time.
because I needed a biology class for my degree. And so
Yeah.
I was like, why would I just take another?
What's your
biology?
degree again that you're getting?
My major's in sociocultural anthropology.
Yes, I totally remembered you saying that last time.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
proud of myself. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I was like saying it with you in my head, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, my degree's in anthropology because humans are my favorite animals, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because growing up, I really liked animals. I really like studying zoology.
Uh-huh.
And then I worked at the Phoenix Zoo through high school. And then when I found out about anthropology, I was like, man, I like studying humans way more than just animals.
Yeah.
What did you do at the zoo? What was your
I was a
job?
volunteer. I was a zoo teen. Through the zoo
teen.
There's a program at the Phoenix
know
Zoo
that.
called
That's
Zoo
cool.
Teens where kids can volunteer, and there's different like little like sections. Like I was a trail teen, and so I focused on handling reptiles and invertebrates, so like snakes, lizards, bugs, or just like putting little artifacts out. And we like so when you go to the zoo, there's like little tables out where it's like little like here's an elephant skull, and so like people can look at it, or
Yeah.
like here's a snake, you want to touch the snake, like stuff.
You can't leave the snake out there. You gotta put
No,
it
like you
inside.
hold the snake, and then when you're done holding him, you put him back in a little box,
What
and then
was,
he like gets taken back to his exhibit later.
What was the creepiest animal? Like the one that you had to take care of, but you were like, "Fuck, I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this."
Let's see. Stick bugs, I didn't like handling, not because they were scary, because they were fragile.
No.
So I was
Okay.
always afraid I was gonna like
Sorry.
accidentally kill one and be like, I get in trouble.
Yeah, right. You would no longer be a zoo teen.
Oh no.
You'd just be a
Hissing.
normal teen.
Take him off that trail, that's for sure.
Yeah, the hissing
Be feeding
cockroaches.
lions.
Lizards I was sometimes afraid of just because they were, I don't know, I feel like lizards more likely to bite.
That's fair.
They're unpredictable.
Because
I
we
had
would
a
have like a
lizard.
chuckwalla, so like those big gray lizards that live out in the desert. I was always a little nervous about that dude. And then,
Did he ever do anything? Is that why?
Did you name him?
no.
Did he have a name?
Oh, I'm sure he had a name. I can't remember what it was
Yeah.
now. I feel like they all had
It's probably
names.
just Chuck.
Snakes I liked. Sometimes you could tell that when a snake was having a
Having a day.
having a
He's
bad.
just not having it.
Yeah, because I had a snake gape at me once, and so I just like put him back in the box real
What's
quick. It was
that?
like gaping is when they like open their mouth
Just
at you for
yell
a
at
bit.
you a little bit.
It's kind of like a warning, so like they just show their
Hiss
whole
back
mouth.
when they open their mouth.
And it's like, I mean, it's a sign of stress, and so it's like probably he was getting tired of kids touching him.
Yeah.
So usually you hold him out for a little bit, and then you can kind of tell when like the snake's not in a good mood
They're
anymore,
done.
and you're like, all right, I'm gonna put this guy away, but take out another snake. It was a Brazilian rainbow boa that gaped at me. Rainbow
Is
boas
it
are
big? That sounds
the Brazilian
big.
rainbow boa. I mean, I feel like we can get pretty big, but ours is like I don't know, like maybe 3 feet,
I
maybe
feel like I
even 2
connect with
feet.
snakes. I feel like they can feel energy more than dogs can. Like, you know what I mean? You know how sometimes your dog can feel your energy?
Interesting.
I feel
Yeah.
like snakes can definitely feel your energy.
I could totally see that, the way that their like perception is based on, you know, the little scent tongue thing.
Vibration.
Amy, what's the animal that you would like? You know what I mean? Like you would compare yourself to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I really do. I honestly believe that every human being on this planet can be related to some type of animal in the way, like
Probably
at least
an animal.
characteristics that animals
Yeah.
have. You know what I mean?
I'm mammal AF. Probably something big.
Yeah.
Like, I love giraffes so much. I've been obsessed with them. I probably am not a giraffe because I'm not tall, nor do I have a long neck.
Right.
And I don't have even freckles, so I don't compare to a giraffe whatsoever. But I was a vegetarian for quite some time.
There you go.
I've been in the giraffe barn a couple times when I worked at the zoo. They
That's
have
cool.
these walls that will squeeze in on them because to give them shots. Well, because like if you're trying to like go up to a giraffe to give it a shot, it's probably gonna be like, no, run away. And so you get into a little section or the entryway of its barn, the doors or the walls can like narrow in, and so essentially you're like squeezing them in there so you
Right.
can
You can-
give them a shot really quick. Which sounds mean, but I mean letting them get
It was
disease
there.
I
is
feel like they
worse.
might notice.
Yeah.
My dog never notices when we.
But yeah, like after like it
Never
might get
notices
nervous
shots at all.
from
Miles
the
is the
wall,
best
but I
boy.
don't think it really realizes that either. Like I don't think it knows it's getting a shot. It's probably more worried about the fucking fact that it's
Why
stuck
the fuck
in
are the
wall real
walls
quick.
coming
Yeah.
in?
So giraffes have really long necks because, like, you know, they had to be the ones to eat the tall leaves.
Right.
And that was their spot.
Yeah.
But do you think that like they became vegetarians because they had long necks, or do you think they got long necks because they were
I
vegetarians
think it's a mix
first?
of both.
No. Which one came
it's
first? You think? You think they had like
Don't
really
chicken
tall
and egg
necks?
me on this shit.
I would say-
They have really
They-
tall necks, right? But maybe
Yeah.
they're really hungry for meat.
Out
They
of
can't fucking
survival,
reach the meat.
They
Yeah.
had to
Why don't they
reach-
eat birds?
You waiting? After for survival, I would assume, because like it's like savannah land. You know, other game is eating. You know what's left. You have antelope and zebra eating ground stuff, and then lions eating them. And then the giraffes were like, well, how can I survive? Because they probably were getting kicked out of the group. Because they have long legs, so they can travel more land too, as well. So they probably were like, fuck this, we're leaving. We're gonna go get our own food, and their necks got bigger so they could, be with everybody because they miss their friends. So.
Yeah, I would say that they were definitely probably herbivores before changing into the shape that they were, and just as like the generations went on, it just became more beneficial
they don't have to
grow into that
for the
shape.
trees.
Yep, they have real bad depth perception though. So there's a zoo in, I believe, Portugal, where like the gimmick of the zoo is that there's no like glass walls or like fences or anything. It's like a whole open zoo, and so they have different like.
Where is it?
In Portugal, I think.
Portugal.
And they have different
safari zoos and
creative ways to keep the animal in their exhibit without obviously just putting a fucking wall around it.
So they do it by habitat.
Yeah, and so the giraffes are the way that they don't like step out into the rest of the zoo is around their entire enclosure is like a 1 foot drop down, and because they're so fucking high up, when they look down, their depth perception is real bad, and they can't really tell how far that like drop is.
So they think it's a robot.
And they don't want to risk it, so they'll like never step down. Also, because even if it is like just a foot drop and they misstep it and they fall over, like
break their legs.
they'll probably never get back up again. It's real hard to get up after you fall down, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen a giraffe fall over.
It's
I bet
not-
they use the top of their head, like
No.
They-
back up.
I know they can lay down
super
on their little
goofy.
legs, but
Yeah.
even then I feel like it's hard.
Yeah, and if you ever seen a giraffe, I'm gonna show you guys. A giraffe like drink water. They have to spread their legs so wide just to drink water because they don't want to do this. Like they.
Well,
wouldn't.
imagine too, like if you're sitting down, it's going to take a lot of time and energy to get back up if you need to get up real fast. There's a lot of reasons to need to get up real fast at a watering hole. And so it makes sense that they would want to already be standing so they can...
Ready to run.
Do they sleep standing up?
No, because I think they sit on their little legs and sleep. Then again, I'm not sure.
Probably half and half. I bet they can, like horses. They probably can sleep standing up, but I mean, you watch them, they're usually laying down.
I feel like it would take more energy to stand.
But it's slow. I've seen giraffes get up and down from watching a lot of Animal Planet and going to the zoo. They're slow getting up, and they definitely like want that and kind of like wobble their way up. It's not pretty. It's kind of like a baby deer, but a big baby deer.
Huh.
I could be wrong, but that's what I've experienced in my.
I feel like this is like an episode of Planet Earth, basically. I like it.
Me.
Yeah, me too.
Some history, some zoology.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, the Earth is kind of cool. I feel like there's a thought. I know that's ridiculous to say, but I feel like as I'm getting older, and this is just me speaking. As
it is you speaking.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. As I'm growing older, I'm becoming more aware of how vast and how wide and how deep everything really is. Does that make sense?
No,
like nothing is as simple as what I was told when I was in history class in elementary school. Because you created a story for everything. Like in your mind, you created the story of how things went. Yeah, and this is how things go. Like you're never knowing like every detail, and it's like it was weird for me because it took me a really long time to realize that what I had learned and what I had been taught might not have been 100% truth. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. You create your narrative for
incomprehensible. I know world. I'm kind of like just going on a run, but that for me is what makes the world so interesting. Is that it's like we've only known Victor's history.
Well, it's like when you're studying like archaeology, it's weird to me like so much of it is really just based on like honestly all you can do is guess.
Yeah.
So when you're studying like an ancient civilization that's like long gone, especially if they don't have any like direct ancestors that are still going on, it's pretty hard to just assume what their culture was. I mean, like you have just a couple artifacts and ruins to kind of just
So what
get
will
an
people say
idea.
about us?
Yeah, we'll
We're
see.
gone quickly.
Like if this society was like wiped out and then like a
Yeah,
little
what
while
would be
later,
left
something-
over? They'd probably be weirded out by our little cookie cutter homes in Arizona.
Yeah.
They'd be like, they all live together in one house. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's one.
Like, what would a
Well,
neighborhood
it
Like the
depends
colony
too on
of
like
humans,
what
you know,
would
like
have
how
been left
humans.
over.
Yeah.
Because like in the event of whichever apocalypse we would like disappear from, it would
Probably
depend
wouldn't
on
be
what
our house.
survives.
Yeah.
So a lot of homes would fall apart.
Right.
What would be
They would.
interesting is if the internet was somehow intact and like all the fucking
that'd be
data we've
creepy,
saved was
yeah.
That
saved.
would be. I've
And
thought
then
about
people
that all
could
the
like
time.
tap
yeah.
into it, and then
Like
honestly,
imagine if there was
if
like
the
an
world
internet.
was stopped, it would be up to date to that exact moment in time.
Yep.
Because
Well,
the internet's
At
always
least in
watching.
current-
and I've
news, yeah.
always had this thought: what if that happened, and then through the internet, it's the same thing where it's them just guessing about like us.
Oh yeah.
And so they stumble upon the like comic books and the Marvel superheroes, and they start relating them to gods.
Oh yeah. Totally.
You know, I
It
mean,
would still
treating
be,
it as a
like,
religion
God worship,
almost. Yeah, exactly. Because you have
Yeah.
like, you know,
True.
the comic books are exactly. Oh, okay, sorry, Mom. Comic books are very much so like the Bible.
Yeah,
Because the
totally.
Bible sits there and
Sorry,
tells you
Mom.
all, the
No, it
Bible
totally
sits
is.
there and tells you all of these good stories and these good morals of how you need to be a good person, and then comic books turn around and do the same thing. You need to be a good person. You need to be a hero. You need to do these things.
The fictionalized icons.
Yeah.
A lot of our societies are still based on that, even without like a formal religion. We still latch on to like needing some.
It just
form
depends
of-
on your definition of religion and what theirs is in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they might not even view it the same whatsoever.
That's
true. They might not even think of.
It's like a
Religion.
Rick and
They won't
Morty
even know.
conversation. God
Well, that's
bless
like
that show for
anytime-
everything they do with that. Ugh, it's
There's
awesome.
always like a joke where like anytime you find like any little artifact, people will be like, "Oh, it must have been some secret religious icon."
And it could have been
Like
more
anytime you
simple
can't
than they
like
could have
tell
ever
what it
imagined.
was, like anytime you can't tell like what an artifact is, some people are like, "Oh, it must have been, I don't know, they used this in their temple," but it could have been like, I don't know, a plunger.
Could have been a
Well, like if you didn't know anything about like plumbing or like bathroom culture, like someone could like
Exactly.
if you just found like a plunger stick. Like let's say like society moved away for a long time and then like a hotel was buried like perfectly intact.
Yeah.
And then the future culture came in
They
and
might.
like broke in, it'd be like, oh, this is some society where everyone lived together in the same like settlement. And then like trying to interpret
the
what
bathrooms could have been like
Friggin-
ways of getting water.
it could have been.
There's
throne
still little
rooms.
chocolate candies on the room, so they think it's just tradition.
Stop.
The chocolates
There's
on the pillows.
That wouldn't last.
in my
But
bio,
however,
like
that would be
absolutely
funny.
pristine.
That would be
Everything
pretty
stays
crazy.
exactly how. If everything,
perfectly preserved.
yeah, perfectly
Candy.
preserved, what would a chocolate kiss be? It'd be like
Well, it'd just be. I mean, it could be a food offering.
they'd probably
left.
know it was food, but
Well,
it'd be
even
weird
then-
to be on
Yeah.
the pillow. They're like, what are they doing in the middle of the night? It's like some sort of
Ritual.
religion.
Well, a lot
Yeah.
of
That
religions
they-
have food offerings, and so you could just write that off as
Just
like, oh,
safety as they
gotta
sleep.
leave that. Yep, gotta leave that offering out.
Next to their head.
oh,
so the
great,
Boogie
Hilton
Monster
Inn.
won't get 'em.
my bioarchaeology class there's like this book based off of like that joke, and so in it, it's like these archaeologists excavating, like a fucking hotel.
Yeah.
And like the bathroom was like a throne room, and so like they thought that the toilet was like where you like sat to pray, and the toilet seat in the bathroom had broken off and was like laying on the floor. And so they thought that you were supposed to put the toilet seat around your neck and wear it. There's all these like paintings of like these archaeologists thinking they're looking like cool, where they got fucking like, toilet seat
Toilet seats.
around their neck, and they're like holding a plunger, and it's like, this is the fucking like neck thing and the scepter, and then now I gotta sit on the throne and like pray like these old people.
What if it was like
'Cause they had no idea it was just a
hieroglyphics
fucking-
and it was someone giving someone a swirly? What do you think they would think it was?
Who knows? Killing that dude.
That guy's getting his
Fucking-
head chopped up in a blender. It's just a toilet.
Then again, you could like with the swirly thing, like, oh, then not only was it a throne room, it's like fucking sacrificial room, where that guy's fucking his head's fucking drowning as like sacrifice for whichever gods.
The toilet gods.
Toilet gods.
Yeah, context is so important.
Well, it's
So,
like
without
Greek
context, you
history
can make
too.
Well,
you
yeah.
know, like Greek history is a lot. Like, I mean, I guess we have things.
a lot.
that are, like,
A lot of it is,
solidified,
recorded.
But, yeah.
even then,
But like even from there, still,
You can't-
like, Greek
you can never
gods,
be-
like, all of that. Like you never know
yeah,
exactly.
you can never be too
100%
sure
what
how it was
Yeah.
without going there. And unfortunately, we can't yet. and we may never be able to access the ability to go back in time.
Oh god, I wish we could though. That'd be so
I
cool.
only wish we can go back in time if it was a thing where when you went back in time, you were creating an alternate universe.
Okay, I
Because
get
then
you.
you're not fucking up your own time zone. It would make
Yeah.
sense then.
Yeah,
To go
yeah.
into, essentially you're opening a new alternate universe where
Yeah.
everything was the same up until the point that you decided to fuck it over. But then, like, from an anthropology perspective, I always love the idea of going back in time to, like, start a different universe and then make certain changes and then just keep going back and, like, watching how different that society developed from me, like, fucking around in the past.
Right.
Versus fucking up my own, like, timeline and being like,
Right.
oops, I'm done. But, so yeah, I'd much rather fuck up someone else's universe than mess up.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, ours is already messed up enough.
Seriously. It's nuts. So then there's a question for you. Sam,
Yo.
where would be the first place you would go if you could go back in time? Like the very first thing what is the first thing you would do? I mean, like, you're sitting there, you have it in your hand, like, I'm imagining, like, some kind of...
Like, anywhere.
you
I
know,
would
like,
probably, honestly, okay, I'm gonna step in real quick because you're still thinking.
yeah.
I would probably sit there in my living room for a fucking long time.
Seriously.
Because I'm like, oh my god, I'd be kind of scared. Like, I'm not scared of jumping out of a plane,
Yeah.
but I'd be so terrified to go back in time. Is that
Yeah.
weird?
No.
I'm like scared of it. I
I
don't know
could
what
see
I'd be
that.
looking for, but I'd be
You
sitting
almost
there
want
on
to,
my
like, drive to
couch.
Costco and
staring
grab, like,
at it.
toilet paper and, like, toothpaste and, like, all this
Can I
shit. And you're
take this shit
like,
with me?
please.
How big is the little veil that goes with it? Do you have to be touching it? Can those things be touching what you take? Can I get a backpack? Can I take a backpack?
Yeah.
You literally
Ooh.
snowbird it and just take an RV
What would-
and
okay.
go back in time in RV history.
This will be the next question. Like, side note, what would you take in your backpack
Oh,
to
fuck.
another time
That's the
space?
thing,
Ooh,
because I'd be
yeah.
afraid to bring stuff.
That would
That
fuck
would
up.
show
future
you
back.
up. Yeah.
Because if I'm fucking up the future, like, bringing back stuff.
Well,
Well, you
that's
need
exactly
proof.
why
You need
you'd
proof.
have to find something. And I mean, like, I would probably steal someone's idea, and I'd find something that was just so stupidly obvious that was created. You know what I
you mean
mean?
you'd,
Like
go
in
back
that
and,
time,
like, start
but
that
I
and
bring
then you'd
that
profit
before,
from it?
and yeah, exactly, and I
So
profit
would you
from
be the
it.
guy who started fire, or Thomas Edison?
I mean, you gotta go pretty far back for that to start
That's what I'm
fire.
saying, how
but-
come-
Yeah.
That's
But
why I
it's not
said
like
Thomas
they
Edison or,
profited
like,
from
caveman.
it.
No, I wouldn't even
Yeah.
do Thomas Edison though. I'm
Well,
not saying like I'd create electricity. I'm saying I'd create
You'd found, like,
the
Coke.
holder for toilet paper.
You-
You know what I mean? Like something that's just
God, just
so.
saving people's lives and
I'm just
every time
saying,
it's
like,
look
you
at
get
this.
something that would be so dumb,
So
but that
simple,
everyone
but then
would
you'd
want
get
and
those
include.
royalties, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, which would be funny because I bet you
could-
that would be exactly where my entire universe gets fucked up. Me being the.
Because who
one
knows what
person-
the-
yeah.
You know?
Too soon, John.
Yeah.
Too soon.
You're getting, like, a
The
legal
world-
battle.
The world's not ready for toilet paper holders.
Like, you started in the wrong era. Like, it's like a year too soon. You
Yeah.
realize, and you're like,
Yeah,
exactly.
crumbles. Some things could change for the better.
Another thing I would be afraid of is if you're, like, directly going in, like, in this body with no, like, safety. Like, there's probably diseases, one that we've never experienced.
Oh shit, we'd die so quick.
Diseases, or just, like,
Or maybe we got
fucking
the
up and,
shot.
like, getting someone mad at you and they kill you.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
like, it'd be
'Cause we're
so.
not used to that,
yeah,
and
like,
sociology-wise, taking our
Yeah.
sociology back with us would be.
like going to
We're
like a
prepared.
foreign country, like far in the past.
Yeah.
Like if you went to like ancient Rome and you couldn't fucking speak like any of those languages.
Seriously.
Or you could
You
be
could
considered a
travel.
god. Honestly, that's probably what would happen since religion was so prominent then. You'd be
I
taking,
guess that's true. If you
Because you know
came
how
back
some
with like
religions,
future
like,
devices.
Yeah, oh,
children
yeah, that's
who
how you
are
gotta
born
play
with
it.
disabilities are like considered very precious.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But in our community, it might be a little different. Like, you know what I mean? People are like, oh, what's wrong with you? But there's like,
Yeah.
if your kid was born with a physical or mental like disability, you were a chosen person.
Like yeah.
Really?
You see that sometimes in India and Hinduism. There's a lot of like disfigured kids that'll be born with like an extra limb or like missing limbs,
Uh-huh.
and then some of them will like believe that they were essentially like not. I don't know if they're like
Deities of
touched
something?
or somehow related to like they're
Yeah.
divine for some reason, and then like people will come like pray like at the house of this like kid,
Dude,
and
that's
just because the
wild.
kid was born.
I mean, I guess it makes sense if you
Disfigured.
think of like Hindu. If you think about that, you think of like the 3-armed gods and like all
Yeah.
those extra limbs. Like, 'cause that kind of makes sense. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's just interesting to see the value
Yeah.
how values placed differently in different societies.
Have you ever read, since you've done sociology, have you ever read The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down? It's
What is that?
It was a book I had to read for a health class, but it was essentially like the bridge between society and culture. So it's like health and culture. Where does it mix? Because our culture, a doctor would be like, this happens. Science says do this, do this, do this, and this is going to be the result. All scientific based, method, theory, everything. But then a person who comes in who's hamam believes, their children are deities if they have any seizures. When you're a American doctor, you see the seizures as life-threatening. They see it as chosen, they see it as a blessing, that there's something special. And then how do you treat someone in the U.S. for something where culture mixes with, what you think is right and wrong, what you've been taught in medicine. So it's almost like it was a class that brought that into perspective and also was like, okay, doctors need to be culturally aware because in some cultures, blood transfusions are like not okay.
Yeah.
And that could be life and death.
Right.
But in American culture, they are sworn into doing whatever to any measure to save someone's life. And then other people are like, well, if you do this, if you cut off this, if this isn't buried right in my culture, that means they can't return to their body in the afterlife. And that shit is very serious for people when their whole entire centuries of culture has said, if you don't bury my child with the placenta or something like that, they can't find their way back into the family once they die. Like, that shit's crazy. And then you're a doctor who's just like, oh, I didn't know. And then you ruin that person's life in a cultural manner.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's definitely a big bioethics issue to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Well, just like here, I mean, like, modern medicine to modern science in a way is still a religion because, like, there's a lot of elitism that goes into, like, intellectualism. So a lot of times, like, if you try to challenge...
God, that was a beautiful sentence. What you said
it was really pretty. I thought the same thing.
The elitism that goes into intellectualism.
Yeah, well, because if you think about it, like, a lot of times it's hard because, like, let's say there's what we've assumed is scientific fact. I mean, it's happened for centuries. Like, what you believe is normal, and then some dude tries to come along and say it's not that way. It takes a lot of time for people to be okay with it.
Right.
So like the same with I don't know, just it's hard because like what we believe is fact now could be something in the future that is regarded as something silly.
Yep.
Like how people used to think the Earth was like the center of the universe. And then, like, now we think it's dumb for people to believe that, but, like, it took a long time
for people that we think people are dumb.
We got a lot of flat earthers now. They're coming back for some reason.
You're an idiot if you believe that. It's
or
so
how
dumb.
people in, the Bible didn't understand that rain was a thing. And then they said water was going to fall from the sky, and their perspective, it's almost so symbolic. You know what I mean? They said, no way, there's no way.
Well, you still have people now that are mad when you propose that the Earth is older than, 6,000 years?
Oh, yeah.
Or we used to have issues at the zoo with, like, little fact things about how, like, closely orangutans are related to humans. So people get real heated about it still. Which is weird, because, like, even before, like, just the last 100 years, like, the notion of, like, how closely humans are related to other primates, like, that gets people real mad because it
almost
attacks their entire, like,
exactly
view
what
of
you say. It's elitism, like... With intellectualism, it's those, like humans believing that they want to be better than something, that they have to be better than something, and so they have to be better than these orangutans. I'm not anything like an orangutan. No way. Don't tell me that. Like they're primal animals.
Well,
who can't
honestly,
speak.
it's not
When in
about
reality,
being better.
it's not
I feel like to me personally, when I think about it, like why would there still be orangutans?
Well, it's because
we're from orangutans. Like
Well, it's because we didn't develop directly from orangutan or any of the other apes that still live. It's because we had a common ancestor, and that ancestors, the offspring, developed into different branches, like just like any other animal. It's like...
You agree.
So I could have a long lost cousin that's an orangutan?
No, because that's the thing. It's like, well, one, the apes that live now, like the chimps, gorillas, orangutans, they've been separate from humans for a long fucking time.
Right.
It's just that at some point, real long ago, we all like came from the same ancestral species and then developed differently into different species, and then branched off. And that's why, like, even if you look, like, in, like, the homininae family, there's, like, you have pongo, which is orangutan, they're by themselves, and then you have gorilla, and then you have pan.
They're entirely separate.
Yeah, and then you have Homo sapien.
Or monkey.
Yeah, monkeys are
different.
Yeah, monkeys are primates, but then they are. I mean, there's monkeys related or closer to us in like. So like humans are Homo sapiens, and then they go into they're part of like family, like homininae, and then they're in or is that subfamily?
Can I get that one again?
Homininae.
Thank you.
It's so hard because like it's homininae is inside hominidae because it's family Hominidae, subfamily Homininae, and then there's genus Pongo, genus Gorilla, genus Pan, and then genus Homo. And then of the genus Homo, humans currently our species is Homo sapien. And then chimps are Pan paniscus, and then chimps are Pan troglodytes, bonobos are Pan paniscus, but it's like so even in that thing, chimps and bonobos are different.
Yeah.
They're not the same species. And then Hominidae is inside.
Laszlo, you went too far for me, man. I can no longer.
It's just because I had it.
I'm all about it. You know?
I love it.
What
I
is
love
it
it.
like King Henry?
I'm just
doesn't drink hot
impressed.
chocolate?
It was so good.
I had
how
seriously.
much you just told me.
You're not.
I had
Did
a
you,
test
honestly, though,
last
did you
week.
watch Animal Planet growing up?
Oh, hell yeah.
Seriously,
Oh, hell
I caught myself when I, like, even as an adult, I would love to rather watch documentaries over
Oh, yeah.
anything. I love
Yeah,
documentaries,
that's
and my
right.
family is that way. Like, we're just interested.
Telling him with history.
Like,
You know, I love history.
okay,
that
Sam
way.
and I actually were just talking about that. I was saying, like, I am not as connected to history. Like, when I hear stories and things, I'm not, like, as interested.
Yeah.
And it could be based on, like, well, I don't want to go into that. It's a whole new thing of, like,
Yeah,
education
no, I got you.
system.
It's another
but, like,
rabbit trail.
Yeah, it is.
Bunny
But,
trail.
But like
Have
as a kid,
you-
I would watch
Sorry.
Finding Nemo, and then they'd have like those extra things you click on to get to whatever, and all of a sudden I'm watching documentaries by Jean Cousteau, and then I was like, this is so dope, but it all stemmed from Finding Nemo, and then I would love to go, and then I would like watch all his documentaries,
Yeah.
and then as a little kid I threw out I'm like name dropping, and people are like, what are you like? What? I'm like, yeah, this Jean Cousteau.
Yeah, I still don't know who
Have
that
you all
is,
ever
so-
watched
Finding
Samantha
Nemo.
Brown?
No.
See, it's the weirdest because no one I know like really knows about her. But
I mean, that sounds
What does
like
she
the
do?
whitest name ever. I
Oh,
bet we
totally.
had 6 at our high school, so can we be a little bit
Seriously.
more?
okay, so
Oh my
Samantha
God,
Brown
Samantha Brown.
was
That's a bump
she was
in
on
the
Travel
I just
Channel.
fucking hate Samantha Brown.
She was on Travel Channel. Like I watched a lot of Travel Channel growing up.
Yeah.
Super hyped on it, and she had like a shitload of shows.
Nice.
Like my entire like life growing up, this lady's consistently had a job on that. Like I don't think she has anything right now. Maybe she finally fucking retired.
Was it like a show on Travel Channel?
Yeah,
What is
because she
it?
had Samantha
What was it?
Brown's passport to Europe, where she would go to different cities in Europe and be like,
Wait,
how
What up? I'm
Wait.
Samantha Brown.
Oh my God,
But,
Samantha
like,
Brown's
hashtag,
here.
where is she now?
Well, right now I don't know where she is. I
Is
mean,
she still on that channel?
I don't know.
Samantha
I
Brown
haven't
goes
seen
to
her.
Italy.
Is she hot?
We should look her up on Instagram.
You gotta look that up.
She
She's
had
like
big boobs.
she is. No,
Dude.
I wouldn't say that.
Just curious. It just helps me
I'd say
visualize
like
a character
medium.
in my
She's
head.
she's like a skinny, middle-aged
She work out?
white mom. That's what she looks like, and her whole thing is
So
like.
woman.
I can get on it.
Well, I don't know about one. Well, I guess she went to university she went to the
BYU.
University of Syracuse. Syracuse, New York. That's where she's from. She went for a journalism degree, and then she became a travel actor.
You and Samantha Brown are homies, Laszlo.
You've been sucking Samantha Brown.
I looked up her like whole career path to be like, how can I do that? Because like I won.
So what he's saying, Laszlo is
Right.
inspired by Samantha
Yeah,
I
Brown.
tried
yeah,
looking up
I
how
feel
she fucking got that job.
Yeah.
Like, where did she go to school? What did she go to school for? Because I was like, how can I fucking do that? So I can't like
badass.
I wanted
getting
to work for
paid
National
to
Geographic
fucking
and
travel
Travel,
around.
yeah, and
just
film.
chill on camera, and then people just-
seriously.
Hello, that's still my
Like your life
dream
is
right
like
now.
held by people wanting to watch you just fucking chill. Sounds good. Like her whole show was like she would just go to different cities and be like, "Look how fucking nice this is," and then that's her paycheck. It's
Yeah.
like her fucking having a great
Yeah,
time.
I feel that. I totally.
Because she
feel
had
that.
That
passport.
is my future life.
She had passport to Europe. She had great hotels where she just went to different nice hotels in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
She had Latin America.
Before it was cool.
She did the Disneyland special. Every great Travel Channel star needs her own
Laszlo's favorite.
Disneyland special.
What is the Disneyland special about? What are
It's
they
a whole fucking like Travel Channel like hour-long episode
of them
her
going
just-
through
They
Disneyland and being like,
actually
this
have
is
that.
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Give me
that's all
that
it
show.
is. Well, it's like the Disney. I think it's the Disney World special. So there's like more to do than just
Holy shit,
Anaheim.
that's even better.
So it's like her going to every fucking park in Disney World and then like going behind the scenes and like showing you stuff. It was like, oh, so cool. And then you have people like Anthony Bourdain. And
Wait, I've heard of him. What's that guy
He's
do?
also on the
Damn
Travel
it.
Channel, but he is a cook.
Yeah,
So his thing is eating food in different cultures. Hers was more.
Oh, I watched him just recently.
He's so cool. He's been around for a long time too.
Dude, he
I feel like he replaced.
grosses me out.
He would
Samantha
eat
Brown.
the weirdest shit.
Well, no, there's Anthony Bourdain, and then there's Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmern.
Oh, that's
Andrew
what I'm
Zimmern
thinking
is the
of.
bigger bald dude.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that.
He's
guy.
the one where he'll go to different cultures that are a little further away from us and eat weird fucking shit.
Okay.
Anthony Bourdain was this chef from I think New York who was like he wrote like cooking books. He became like a food critic, and then he got his own show where he just goes around and eats at people's restaurants and shit.
Who's that one guy that
Oh,
he goes
critics?
and
I have a lot to say
drinks?
about
That was like Anthony Bourdain or something like that.
We just
Yeah, Anthony Bourdain's
that's who it was.
he's the one that was a chef, and now he goes to eat.
Yeah, John
everywhere.
just left the room for a minute. He just
Trying
didn't
to
catch.
jump back.
He didn't catch
Um,
any of that
I need another
conversation.
There's a
Bottle.
new
Glass.
dude I've seen around. He has a show where he goes around to different cities and countries to experience the different ways they drink alcohol.
That's the guy I was talking
It's like
about.
Drunk
Oh,
Around
yeah.
the World or
Yeah.
Oh,
something.
I want to know about this. Drunk Around the World sounds like my
Okay,
jam.
so there was this one episode I watched.
That
was
would be what I
pretty
call the
freaking cool.
TV show.
There's this place. I want to say it's in Africa. Don't quote me on that, but it was very jungly. What?
Dude, it could have been Costa Rica.
Okay, it could be
Or
Costa
like
Rica.
Asia.
I just know
It
him.
could. I don't know.
Because Africa isn't just.
It's true. It's
Don't
true.
Well,
hurt
Africa's a
yourself.
pretty big
Okay, don't
continent.
quote him on it.
So
Anyway,
regardless-
somewhere.
There's a
Somewhere.
Venus flytrap, and he's
I mean, you can take more
interesting.
context from looking at the people and the culture there. But
I was a little drunk when I watched it, so to me
Okay.
it was just jungly.
It was probably someone's backyard. They didn't know it well.
No, it wasn't. It was like a second or third world country. What
Alright,
differentiates
alright.
between the two? What's the
Don't-
difference between a
Buddy
second
show.
and
Back
That's
to
pretty-
that's a
juggling.
whole nother.
Back to
What
juggling.
episode was it?
Whoa.
What
Okay,
would they
so
do?
there were these that they would build these ladders and then like these ramps from tree to tree. They would go to these different trees. They found if they took like the leaves of one tree and then they would get the sap from another tree. They'd put them together. They'd boil them and shit, and they'd make this crazy
Voodoo.
African voodoo vodka. Ooh, voodoo vodka. We should.
That'd be
That's
good.
not bad.
I'm writing that one down.
Write that down. That's why we have the
Take
notebook
this off
out.
of it.
Yeah.
But be sure we don't play
Yeah,
this.
copyright. So
Copyright.
he said he would drink it, and it was like the spiciest drink he had ever had.
Huh.
And he did like 2 or 3 shots of it, and he was
Just
just so
fucked up.
fucked up on this show. It
So
was
let's
hilarious.
do like
Made him all sick.
rum.
It was
We'll
awesome.
make it like Fireball.
No, voodoo vodka.
Well, it's
alliteration.
it'll branch off eventually
Oh, I
once
see.
you establish the
Yeah, we'll
voodoo
just make
brand.
voodoo
Once you
liquor.
establish
Isn't there
the
voodoo? Yeah, Voodoo Ranger is what, a beer?
Yeah, but we're always out. Hashtag get on that Whiskey Row. Everyone loves Voodoo Ranger. We
Come
never
on,
have.
Dirk.
They have a cool art for their
What's
boxes.
up, Dirk?
We'll say that.
Voodoo.
Voodoo Ranger, yeah,
I
they have
got
a cool
that
ass dude.
You should do that. You should draw for microbreweries. That would be dope.
It's a
Yeah,
nice
if
little
only they
job.
would know.
Man, that. Yeah, I don't drink, but I mean, drinking around the world would be so cool.
Yeah, that would
that's
be
one thing
rad.
I'm afraid of too. Is like being like an anthropologist and going to study other cultures.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people are going to want me to drink with them, and I'll be
Well,
like,
it's
"Oh,
like,
no
okay,
thanks,"
can
and
I
then
ask
they'll
you a
get
question?
pissed.
So you don't drink.
Right.
But what if it was like one of those things where in a country, you know, it's rude to deny their chicken feet that you really don't want to eat. But it's like the same thing as a drink. It's like you can
that's the
have
thing
some
I'm
of the
worried
drink. It's like, think of it as chicken feet. Like, yeah, I don't drink when I'm in my home country, but I also don't eat chicken feet in my own home country.
I would definitely take a sip. Because, I mean, I still, like, take a sip every now and then here.
And their alcohol's a
So it
lot
won't kill
different,
me.
too. It's
Right.
just
But-
fermentation.
So I think in the right culture, I'd definitely take a little drink with someone out there. If I'm trying to get them on my...
Because you're
good
not about
side
to
to
tell
let
them
me write
that you
about
don't
it.
drink when they, like, have this 1,000...
Yeah,
of-
like if they like already set it
Cheers.
up and I'm like, oh sorry dude, I don't drink, and then like not touch it at all, that'd be pretty
It's
shitty.
like me
I
saying
mean,
I'm
like,
vegetarian in China. I don't know.
What?
I don't know, dude.
Exactly.
They eat bamboo in China.
No, I'm saying if
know
someone
about
offers
that.
you
Everybody's a
like
panda
meat
bear.
or like something that they made as a delicacy for you, and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm vegetarian," they're gonna say,
Right.
"Fuck you, get out of my
Yeah.
house."
yeah,
This is a delicacy. You eat it. So same
Yeah,
as
I've
alcohol.
seen
I'm just
people
asking Laszlo if he would.
have
Full
issues with
testicles.
If he would sip on the, I would.
I'd eat 'em.
I would eat him.
I would eat
Yeah.
almost anything.
Just don't
if
tell
it was,
me
like,
until I've
important to
already
that
eaten
culture.
it and we'll be good.
Okay, here's the thing though. So my brother's half
As long as
Thai.
there's not
All
nuts
right.
in it.
My father is from
Get it,
Vermont,
testicles.
but he married, and
Guys.
my younger brother, who's now 19, is from Thailand. And he was talking to me. We were having this conversation about that because his mom, she'll eat everything off a bone, like cartilage, everything. And he's not Americanized because like I feel that he didn't move here until like 2 years ago. So it's still a culture shock for him. But even as a kid, he was like, "Oh my gosh, mom, you eat everything that's so gross." You know what I mean? So it's not like a culture thing. So he can't like be, I guess, disrespectful. But we were talking about crickets too, because I've seen this in Thailand. It's very popular, like candied crickets or like peppered crickets or cayenne crickets. It's literally an insect. Very, very popular in those cultures to have insects, you know, in spices and things, and that you eat them. But one I cannot have is the hissing cockroach. I don't think I could do it.
Oh, seriously.
But I would eat a
Madagascar
cricket. I
hissing
would
cockroach.
eat a cricket. I
Yeah.
will not eat ants or cockroaches. Done.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I've
I'll eat
eaten
balls.
a cricket.
I'll eat balls all day.
I'd probably eat an ant.
Really, the ants creep me out.
I wouldn't like. I mean, integrating insects into your diet is actually not bad. They're pretty
It's-
good sort. I
they
mean,
say
you got to eat a
protein.
lot, but they're what good protein.
Another side note: they're making flour out of crickets.
Huh?
Also, something I saw in a
I
documentary.
That's
saw
pretty
that.
cool.
I learned that.
You can make bread out of cricket
Yeah.
flour. I was like, that is actually kind of cool. And it's, you know, out of sight, out of mind. You're not picturing crickets that you're eating in your bread.
I might be.
You wouldn't know. I'd feed you. But cool, right?
That's
I
pretty good.
handled Madagascar hissing cockroaches when I worked at the zoo.
So you couldn't eat it.
I mean, I'd probably eat them.
Really?
I don't care. I
See, I
didn't. I
think
didn't
they're
like
very-
them
they're
because
juicy.
they
I don't
have
like
bad.
that.
Oh, see, I don't know about that either.
They said
It'd be a little harder for me to eat like a
described
whole. Like it's a big
it.
cockroach.
No, it
Yeah.
crunches, but they said it's extremely juicy. And I'm like, I
yeah, I
can't
don't
do
know.
crunch with juice. Like,
It almost
it's
be
gotta
like a crispy
Yeah,
a
jalapeno,
cricket and
you know?
be crispy and done with. You're not getting the crisp outside and the inside. No, I can't do that.
My problem with like eating the crickets is like the little tiny legs, like when they're still like around in your mouth.
Well, they're dead.
It's like little. Well, I don't like eating like flaky food in general, so it's like
You don't like flaky food.
not. I don't know. When I ate a cricket once, and I could like still feel like its little legs, I hadn't crunched them all yet. I was like, I don't know about this.
Because they were moving.
They weren't moving. It's just.
It was just stuck
So
in his
I'm
mouth.
gonna
mouth.
guess
Yeah, I didn't
Laszlo
like it.
hates celery.
I don't mind celery. It's not my favorite.
But I'm just
Um,
saying texture-wise.
Yeah, I'm definitely big on like if some foods I don't like the texture, I won't eat it. And so I'd say for cockroach, yeah, it wouldn't be so much that it's a cockroach, but that's like a pretty big like crunch and then a lot
Yeah.
of juice. I don't know if I could
I don't
sit
like
through that.
organs.
Grasshoppers are supposed to be good.
I don't like
I'd
organs.
grab
I'm not a
it.
big liver person. Something that's gonna be an organ is like gonna fall apart in your mouth. Like,
Oh yeah, I don't like
Of,
I don't like meat.
yeah.
It's like yeah, no.
I'm not like a rare meat kind of
I
guy. I don't like rare meat. I have to eat cooked meat.
Yeah, same.
Rare meat grosses
Raw meat.
me out.
Worries.
what
me.
about rare?
like just like a rare steak you'd eat or no?
No.
Like you'd have to get at least like medium.
Yeah. Oh,
I've
yeah.
Same.
never had a rare steak, so I guess I could.
Yeah,
just
I've never
I would
tried it
try
because I've been afraid to, but
I try it, but it's not like I'm
It's
gonna go
acquired,
and
I feel
eat
like-
it like and be like, oh my god, yes.
It might be really good, John.
I feel like
Ugh.
the
Seasoned
people
real
who
well,
like
like
rare,
little baby.
Ugh.
their parents like
Ooh.
rare, so they only eat rare, and then as they get adults,
Yeah.
they're like ordering rare. Because I know I don't often have people order rare, or if I do, they're fighting about it.
I had a
like
lot
the wife will
of-
be like, "I'll get the rare," and the husband's like, "Oh my god, that's disgusting."
I had a lot of patients at the nursing home I worked at that would order rare. So it must be, I
A
don't know, maybe a
nursing
cult.
home?
Yeah, I used to work in a
Because it's
short
softer to
term.
chew.
No, because they liked it rare.
Wow.
Because, I don't know. I think there's a
Is it
weird
dangerous?
cultural thing about it where, like, older America, everything was so,
Good.
Hard
like,
and
like macho-centric, you know?
oh,
And it's like, if you're not eating, like, if you're eating your steak, like, well done or something, you're not, like, not a real American because you're, like, weak.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that culture bled into where they just got used to eating
I
rare
mean, I get that
steaks
shit all the
because-
time. If I don't eat a hamburger, I like my hamburgers. I can't have any pink, and American way is a little bit of pink.
Yeah.
But I
So it's-
cannot
it's
do
like-
a pink hamburger.
I think the
want-
cultural pressures probably made these old people.
Speaking
No! Jesus Christ!
so, a little
Whoa.
explanation here.
Kolsch!
It's okay.
Kolsch.
No, it's okay. He's babe. He doesn't like that. So Kolsch does not like loud noises, hitting, or any sort of like rough play. And
Yeah.
we just killed a bug, so he's upset.
Mhm.
Yeah, he doesn't like
What bug is that over there?
It's
It's
a
a
cockroach.
roach.
That's a big one.
Which
Which
Damn.
is what we were talking about. But
Well,
you know what's funny is there's no oozing, which I was surprised.
Maybe you should eat it.
And
No.
that's honestly like the second cockroach in.
Oh my fucking god.
We've been here for 8 months now, 7 months.
Eh,
2 cockroaches I'm not complaining about, but when
uh,
we talk about
2
crickets,
cockroaches.
that's
I'm
a
ready to
different
get
story.
sprayed. I'm ready to get this house sprayed.
Nah.
It's just a cockroach.
We live in a desert.
I know.
We had one scorpion, which we brought in with us, so that's
Dude,
different.
that thing was fucking huge.
It was the
dude.
biggest scorpion we've ever had.
Oh man.
I was the only one. I was putting away all of our kitchen stuff, and I moved the dog dish, because that's the only source of water in the house I found right away.
Yeah.
And it was about, I would say, 3 or 4 inches.
That
About
was
4
pretty big.
inches.
That was a big
4
scorpion.
inches. Yeah, a big scorpion, which they're not gonna have a lot of venom because, as you hear, like baby
Yeah.
scorpions sting more.
Yeah.
But either way, when you're looking at a scorpion and it's so big that you don't need to get close to it to see it, that's kind of gross.
Dude, like a full-size scorpion would scare the fuck out of me.
I
But it
hate.
was so
You know what I
big to the
mean?
point
Like-
where we thought it was on the camping equipment because
Yeah,
there's no way it was a house
yeah,
scorpion.
that's right. Like, it was
like, I'm telling you,
What
4
color was
inches.
it? Was it the like?
Tan. It was
So like
big.
a bark
It
scorpion?
was, yeah, it was
See,
literally
those
like.
boys are the bad ones.
So those
Yeah.
are the ones though that are like coming
Kill
in
on
like
sight.
cotton fields,
Yep.
like stuff that comes in on hay. Like we were talking about,
This is that. Like,
not
it looked
from
like-
your average
yeah.
box of moving kitchen
Yeah.
stuff. I was like, where the hell did this come from? But that was it. That was all. That was
Yeah,
a
I
scary
hate-
story.
I hate scorpions.
My family's from back east, and I'm in the desert, so they're like, oh my gosh, scorpions and this and that. I'm like, one, I live in the city. 2, I mean, you see some rattlesnakes, but the whole point is they warn you. You hear a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
snakes that you have to worry about are ones you don't hear. And in Arizona, you know it's coming.
Yeah.
And a cactus, like, just don't run into a cactus. It's not going to
It's
jump
not
after
that
you.
hard. Yeah. Yeah. I had to kill a pregnant scorpion the other day. It's the only scorpion we
At
ever
least they
saw in
weren't
the
on the
house.
back. Babies on
Yep.
the back is worse.
Oh, hell, totally.
Then they scatter, like a spider.
That would be the worst. That's the worst thing I could imagine.
When you killed the pregnant one, did it have babies come out? Because spiders don't have them come out of that sack.
I don't think so, but I like
Okay.
smashed it pretty good before I even like looked at it again. You know what I mean?
Torching it is better.
Yeah, I would have preferred to torch it, but my mom didn't want me to because it was like on the wall of the house.
Oh my god.
She's like, "You're gonna burn our house," and I was
Where
like,
do you live? Queen Creek?
"Gilbert."
Gilbert, Queen Creek?
No, I'm
Gilbert
Gilbert and Ray.
That's slightly closer to Queen. Yeah, like, because, like,
Gilbert.
Ashland Ranch, we would kill
Yeah,
like,
Ashland Ranch right over
a
there.
lot of scorpions.
See, the
and
thing with
cockroaches.
scorpions is I feel
Which
like
I love Ashland Ranch, by
they're-
the way. Holler.
they're kind of
Future
territorial.
goals.
And like if there's like a zone where scorpions live, like no matter how much you spray, they're always going to be there. But then there can be also pockets of neighborhoods where scorpions don't live there, and you'll never see them. So it's really just a matter of if your house happens to be in a zone that they already lived in.
Exactly.
Another issue is citrus
I was
orchards.
gonna say the trees that are surrounding.
So like that northeast Gilbert, like on Baseline and Val
Apple
Vista
trees.
area, that entire area used to be only orange orchards, and now they're neighborhoods, and they have so many fucking scorpions. Because what it is the citrus will drop it's fruit, and then other insects will eat the fruit, and the scorpions will eat
Feed
those
on the
insects.
yeah.
And so where the oranges are,
But they have
scorpions.
centuries and well, not centuries. I'm meaning like genealogy-wise. They have a bunch of different generations of scorpions that have been there since the fruit was there. You're not going to get rid of them.
Yeah, they'll never leave. It's just, if there's a place where scorpions happen to live, just get good at keeping them out of your house, but you're never going to, like, make them leave forever.
And even, like, places like my brother just moved to Colorado, and his roommate's dogs got bit by a snake. Both of them got bit by a snake in Colorado, and it's like, people think, oh, in the desert you're going to get bit by a snake more than there, and honestly, I hear a lot less. Like, there has been probably 3 that I can think of animals that have been bit by snakes, but it's everywhere. In the mountains, it's worse. Snakes are out in the winter, chilling on rocks.
Yep.
The rock.
Gotta warm up. Y'all ever been stung by a scorpion?
No,
Thank God, no.
thank God.
I've been
stung by me,
once as a kid, and it was one of those things where I didn't know it was a scorpion, and so honestly it didn't hurt that bad.
Until
It's a weird
after
thing
you
of
know.
yeah, it's a weird thing to
Mental.
think about because like, because it was what it was we were in a hot tub somewhere and like a little scorpion had like gotten into a floaty because it didn't want to fucking drown.
Right.
And so I stuck my hand in the floaty, and then something got me, and so I was like, oh man, there's like a thorn in here. So I pulled it out. I was like, dude, some thorn was stuck in this floaty, and it got me. So then my grandma was like, let me check it out. She gets stung too. Then we like shake the floaty, and a little scorpion comes out. Went to the hospital. I thought it was a big deal, but I guess I just recently found out all I did at the doctor's was get Benadryl. Because like I guess scorpion venom, at least from bark scorpions, is not that bad. I mean, it's worse than other scorpions, and they're the ones that sting more than the other scorpions here in Arizona. But I guess unless you're like a baby or an old person or like
if
a
you
really
are
sick
allergic
person,
to it, you
Yeah.
can't die. They just
you usually
hurt.
won't die. You could get an allergic reaction, yeah.
I've heard that some people, they don't know they're allergic, but they'll have nerve damage from it, which is
That's
pretty
crazy.
They'll be like, oh, like I couldn't feel my leg after that, and then years go on, they
Yeah,
still
my mom's
kind of have.
friend got stung by a scorpion the other week, and she like didn't go to the doctors for it, and her arm was like numb for like a week, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Isn't that weird?" And I was like,
It's the scorpion venom.
like she like couldn't use her hand, like it was like paralyzed for like a couple days.
I've
She's
heard
like,
of
"Isn't that
that.
weird?" I was like, "You'd think you'd go."
to the doctor.
I would go to the doctor like the first moment I couldn't use my hand after a scorpion.
Seriously.
shit.
Nah, that's
Like,
cool.
I
We'll
think
come
maybe
back.
she went to the doctor and they said it was okay, but
That's
still, I'd be
another
like, I don't
sociology
know.
thing. Like, who goes to the doctor, who doesn't,
Yep.
how quick,
Especially with how expensive it is
masculinity,
now, it's like I can
and
wait this one
expense.
out.
That's a whole new thing.
Michael.
Different conversation.
Okay,
for
but
a
taking my
different
dog, side note, to the vet is more than taking myself to the doctor, which
Oh,
I think
yeah.
is fucking dumb. I think Sam and I have spent about $600 on this dog because he has an ear itch. I couldn't handle.
Collarbone popping out.
I know. Yeah, so he was itching his ears so bad that they were filling up with fluid, but it was just because of the constant hitting. It's like a cauliflower ear, essentially,
Mhm.
that a boxer would get. It's just filled up with fluid from him hitting it so much, from irritation, and they
So then it
just-
makes it worse than just keeps doing it?
yeah,
Great.
essentially. Yeah, and even dogs can get yeast infections in their ear. It's normal, but either way, I was like, I thought it would be done, go one round of medicine, be done, and it just kept coming back.
Import
But
clippers.
long story short is what I'm saying. It costs $50 for a visit, then whatever you get for medicine.
Oh, yeah, no,
so it was a
we've-
$200 visit every single time. And me as a person, I have insurance, but still, it can cost $0 to $50 to $100 a visit to your own doctor. And I was like, he's a dog, which I love so much because he's my baby. But
My family spent so much money on my last like 2 older dogs.
Really?
They're like 2 ones that are like dead now,
Yeah.
But I mean, like up until a point before they died, like
was it their first
dogs
set
get
of dogs?
so. No, we've had dogs forever, but I mean, still like.
I feel like parents get immune. After a while, they're like, oh, it ran away.
Did you grow up with cats?
No.
No.
I was
Laszlo,
like-
did you grow up with cats?
Not allowed
How
to.
about you, Sam?
My parents took lots of dogs and cats to the farm.
See?
Yeah.
His parents take the
A
cat to the
special
farm
farm.
when he's like, how old are you, 24? His parents still are like, this kid
It's a
didn't even
very
tell me that
sweet
his
way of
dog
saying
died.
it.
He didn't tell me his dog
Oh.
died. And I was like, where's Gizmo? And he's like, oh.
Laszlo.
I was like, now I got took him to the farm. I thought you lived on a farm for a minute. And you like brought in a lot of dogs. I was like, all right.
Yeah, his parents are good parents.
Oh, okay. So that's what they would like tell the
There's so
kids.
much room to run. No.
Oh,
The farm is in the city, the farm is death.
yep.
Dog heaven, the farm, yeah.
Yeah, no, my parents just straight tell me when my dog's dead.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, I mean, I was old enough to like, I was like 12 when the first dog I had died. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
can I
So
talk
like I'm
about
old
something?
enough to, yeah.
Another one. Did your parents tell you about Santa Claus?
No.
Like tell me the truth about him.
Just like, how did your parents approach Santa Claus? Go. Last
Okay,
one.
well, I believed in Santa for a little bit while I was younger, and then on my 10th birthday,
No, not the
breakfast morning, I sat down and told my mom, now I'm 10, I'm old enough to know, is Santa real? And she's like, nope. And I was like, I thought so. That was it, that's what I knew. And then
That's adorable.
the way I found out the Easter Bunny wasn't real was when I was a kid, was I looked in a bag, and there was like an Easter Bunny stuffed animal,
Yeah.
and I asked my dad, what's this? And my dad told me, like,
That's crazy.
don't bring it up. You're gonna, like, because my brother was around, and he told me not to bring it up because then my brother would find out that the Easter Bunny's not real, and he didn't want to ruin that for my brother. I didn't know either, so I found out that the Easter Bunny was fake by my dad assuming I already knew, and so I was like, "What's this?" And
He's like, don't tell your brother. You're like, tell him what? What's
Yup.
to tell? Oh, no.
yeah, and like,
Okay,
so I like had to make that realization real quick, like, oh, I guess he's fake.
so which one were you more disappointed about?
I don't know. I guess in a way you're like a little more disappointed about Santa because he's like a real icon, but
Yeah.
at that point I was old enough.
But
I
then
don't
you're
know, 10.
sad that they all don't exist.
That's
Like,
true.
the Tooth Fairy's my jam.
Tooth Fairy. I don't really
It'd take me
remember
like
much.
a full day to come back to my parents and be like, wait a minute. So that means the Tooth Fairy's not real. We're like, yeah.
And then you're like, oh.
That means Jack Frost isn't real?
Jack
Yeah.
Frost.
Is
I never
Santa
even
Claus?
heard.
Oh, Jack Frost. They used to do like on New Year's
The
Day.
Christmas special, right?
New Year's
There
Day,
was
they would
like a-
give me
yeah.
like give us an extra present or whatever.
What?
What's Jack
From
Frost?
Jack Frost? Really?
I
That's
don't know
weird.
about
I've
Jack
never
Frost.
heard of
I
that.
don't know
No,
Jack
I've
Frost,
never heard of that.
Like I
What
know
is
the
it?
character.
Explain. What's Jack Frost?
Jack Frost.
He's
He
a cold
was,
He's a
I
cold
just-
boy.
I think I saw
Well, he's like
the
a blue guy,
Pixar.
but
he's like a blue snowman.
not.
Okay, but he was a kid, right? Because the only reason I know him is from the movie that just came out. It was like a Pixar Christmas film.
He's not always.
He's
a
I
kind
kid.
of
honestly don't
mentioned.
even remember.
And he comes through to like help out, but
Yeah, I
I don't know
remember
how much
there's
of
like
that
those
movie
old
was, like,
animation. There's
revamped, you know what I
old,
mean?
old Christmas
there's
special
Santa
animations.
Claus, everybody got together, and I'm like, so
Did you ever
who's Jack
watch
Frost?
those, Amy?
Jack
What?
Frost
The
was some
old
cool
Christmas
guy.
animations, like
Yeah,
the
they
one
had
with-
Jack Frost.
They
He was
had,
like a-
they
Yeah,
have
but
but
no.
Jack Frost was a bad guy in those ones, wasn't he? Like he's a
think
villain
so.
in those ones.
No,
I'm
no, no.
pretty sure he
Jack
is.
Frost was the good guy, and then the red dude was the bad guy because he wanted to make it so hot that
Yeah.
winter. did.
Red's always bad.
Yeah, because you're thinking of like Rudolph and like the.
It was the
crazy-
dude because he was
Yeah.
like a fire guy or a sun guy, and he wanted to raise the heat so winter didn't exist anymore. And Jack Frost was like,
That's
"Hold on,
right.
not on my watch."
All right. Well, anyway, moving on. Did you say yours?
Santa Claus. No, my parents were just like super elaborate. They took Christmas real serious.
They
Huh.
still do. They're great.
They still do, yeah.
I hope that is that way.
Y'all ever celebrate Saint Nicholas Day?
No.
It's a German holiday where on December, I think
Clogs
Saint
full of
Nicholas
candy.
Day. Yeah, well, not clogs because we don't own them, but
That's sweet.
shoes.
Lots of marzipan.
Yep, it was.
My mom did do like a marzipan day.
She went on her mission
It's,
to Germany.
That's cool. It's the night of the 5th because the holiday's on the 6th. You leave
Yeah.
your shoes out the front door,
Filled with
and then
stuff.
Saint Nicholas, who apparently is a different icon than Santa Claus, would come, leave candy and shit in your shoes.
Saint Nicholas is the Bruce
If
Wayne
you're
to
bad,
Batman.
there'd be
It's
coal
like-
in your shoes.
He's skinny,
Yeah, if you're
isn't
bad,
he?
that'd be
He's
cool.
not portrayed as
And
fat.
hey, there it goes
I don't
with
know. I
Americans.
guess it depends. He comes in on a
developed
chariot of white
stockings.
horses.
The American way is stockings because the British and whatever. What did you say? Who does the clogs?
Germans.
Germans.
Germans. It is clogs, but it's still like we still hold on as Americans because we're such a melting pot
Mhm.
that we still stuff stockings on over our fireplace, but really it was supposed to be clogs.
You
It's
know,
like
Are stockings supposed to be socks or shoes?
I
socks.
think they're socks.
Socks.
So they're just-
Clogs or shoes?
Babe, what is
Well,
a
that's the
sock
thing
with
is
a
like
sock?
instead of getting shoes, they just hung up socks because they weren't gonna fucking.
Well, that's
Make
another
it
thing
shoot.
for you right there.
Yeah.
They're hanging socks up on the fireplace.
Think
Think
dry
about
from
warming
playing in the
socks.
snow.
Like,
Yeah.
actually warming up socks. Us living in Arizona have never had to really deal with that. You know,
Yeah,
like
I never
you
even
never
thought
like
about
put
that.
your.
It is. It's probably
like,
like, outside, get their socks in the snow. It's wet.
Yeah, they want to
hang
warm
it
it
by
up.
The fire.
Don't warm
And
them
so then
up.
the idea, I guess, is that the socks would have already been hung up, and then Santa comes by. and fills them.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
fills them. Isn't that cool?
And now you got to put them up for them because we don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
John, what did your parents do?
My parents did what they do with everything, and they don't really talk about it. But,
They didn't
but
tell
you
you
know,
about Santa Claus. You just came
no,
home from
no,
kindergarten
like
and
we
like,
all
"Who is
knew,
Santa
we all
Claus?"
knew about Santa Claus, and I mean, maybe if my sisters or my little brother went to my parents directly, they did, but I never really did. I also liked believing.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
like I
John's
just
a believer.
loved it so much. Like, but they use the same like they go out. Like we'd
Like,
have
I'm
the
24
Christmas
and I
tree
make Santa
decorated,
get
and we'd
me
have like
carry corn.
presents from them. You know, like from my mom and dad, we'd have like a couple presents from them, and then we'd have like the Santa Claus presents, which
Same,
always were
like,
like
my
Okay,
family did
so
that.
yeah,
always
my
like
mom
gold
always told me that
wrapping,
was
you
a
know,
German thing because the night of the 24th,
Yeah.
you'd exchange presents between the family, and then the morning of the 25th were the Santa
Claus would
presents.
come.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
usually, like
yeah.
the smaller presents, our parents would like exchange with us, and then we wake up in the morning, and it's like Santa brought the
Did any
Xbox
of
and
you
shit.
guys
So it's like the
do
big presents. Are,
Xbox is here?
well, it's like the big presents are like saved for like the morning.
Yeah.
And
You're like,
back then
thanks,
it was
Mom.
That's
Thanks
so
for the
much
fucking
cooler. I
socks
love
because
that.
they held the
Yeah,
better
like-
presents
Yeah.
earlier. So
Like,
you're
you'd get,
thank you,
like-
Santa Claus, for this Xbox.
It
and your
almost
mom's
made you
sitting
like,
there
love
it.
Santa more if that happened because you'd be like, God, why can't you give presents
Yeah,
as
no,
good
hell
as
yeah.
Santa
If I was
does?
a parent, I'd give my kid Xbox on Christmas Eve. They're gonna wake up to socks because Santa sucks and your mom's the best. One of my kids hates Santa.
Make them hate
So when-
Santa.
So when they find out he's not real, they're not gonna be disappointed.
Like,
They'll be
they'll
like,
be
my
like,
parents
one
are
of those
forever.
cute, like it's you have like a 5 or 6 year old that walks up and says like, "What do you want? Better presents from you?" Like just ridiculous.
Or when
That
we
is
know
so weird.
that moment where they come
Yeah.
home and they're like, one of those shitty kindergartners were like, Santa's not real. My kid's gonna be like, oh, thank God. Because I
Just,
hate
yeah, you're
socks.
telling me.
Awesome.
You see what I'm saying? You like
Yeah.
reverse psychology that little kid.
You're gonna fuck that kid up though.
Okay,
You're
they're
gonna get a
gonna
real
Santa
bitter
Claus.
kid who hates Santa. Like if you raise him to
Yeah,
hate
you're
Santa,
right.
it's like where do
you're-
you go
every
from
time
there?
The teacher's like, all right, we're gonna color
Everybody's
pictures of
happy,
Santa
and you just
Claus.
have this
Santa's
one
just-
kid who's
And
like,
he's drawing
"I
black
fucking hate this
X's on
holiday."
Santa Claus's
You like
Not
grow up and
burning.
teach your kids that like Santa's like an icon
Right.
of capitalism
I can't do
that he
anything.
shouldn't be believed in.
Probably enjoy the Nightmare Before Christmas then. Yeah.
It has
Um,
nothing to do with Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas is a weird movie.
It has nothing to do with Christmas.
I don't consider it a Christmas movie, and I barely consider it a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
I guess it's more a Halloween movie.
It's probably
Let's watch it on Labor Day. Yeah,
I just
fuck
don't-
Halloween. Fuck Christmas.
My biggest issue with that movie, other than it being like okay and too many people like it, is that in Disneyland during a Halloween season they changed Haunted Mansion to the Christmas theme,
Yeah.
and it makes me so fucking mad. Cause like, if I'm going to Disneyland in October, I don't want a Christmas fucking. It's so weird that
You're
like
right.
It's supposed to get you excited.
No,
You
because
know,
like
Halloween's here, but Christmas is coming.
Haunted
Okay, but to be
Mansion
fair, I've
is
never
the
seen
most
Haunted
Halloween.
Mansion because every single time I've gone, it hasn't been Haunted Mansion.
You've only seen the Christmas version,
Yep, Christmas version.
Yeah.
and it's not as good.
The time before that, it was closed. I was like, fuck you, because they know what they were doing. Replacing everything with Christmas version.
It's like it's the most Halloween of the rides, and then for the Halloween season, it's not
We're
a
going,
Halloween
by the
ride.
way.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like November, change it, but for Halloween, keep it. If anything, just make it like more Haunted Mansion than it was
More
before.
haunted.
Amp it up. I would say Haunted Mansion is consistently the ride that I've been stuck on the most. Like almost every time I go on Haunted Mansion, I get stuck for like a good 10 minutes.
That's fair.
But it's okay.
Nothing's more Haunted Mansion than this little nubbin.
Well, all right.
All right.
I think that's good. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So it's been an hour and 18 minutes, so
We should
longer than
Yeah,
a
my
normal
favorite
episode.
ones.
Oh, definitely.
So,
But that was a good episode. Like,
Good,
I'd
yeah.
like to listen to that again.
yep.
That'll be fun.
And maybe next time Eric will be back. We'll have to see.
No, you know
What
what? This was
happened to
better
him?
without him. We
Yeah,
should
fuck
just do
that
it
guy.
without him.
Sometimes I say that
Steal
too.
his-
That black box is taking his spot.
There we go.
Thank you,
Black
Willow.
God
I mean,
bless you, Black
Chris-
Box
The
Wine.
other Chris came in. Well, I don't know why other Chris. I don't know why I said that.
The other Chris.
I always refer to him as like other Chris in my head
Because
because
Chris
I
Scott.
knew Chris Scott for so long. So now
Yeah.
I always have
Chris
to be like,
2.0.
the other Chris.
Yeah.
Because all the time still when people talk about him, I'll imagine that people are saying that like Chris Scott came to your guys' party. I was like, really? He was there? But
But Chris
no,
will
I mean,
be
like he
here.
comes every now and then. But I mean, it's just weird because anytime you guys talk about Chris Hunt, I think you're talking about Chris
We
Scott.
always call him
Okay.
Chris Hunt, though.
I don't. I always
I have
just
to call him Chris
I
Hunt,
call
otherwise
Chris
I wouldn't
Scott
know who he is.
Chris Scott, and I call Chris Hunt Chris.
Call him
Well,
Christopher
did you know
Lee
Chris
Hunt
Hunt more?
surprising amount.
I
Yeah,
literally
do.
always, I don't know if I have a Chris. I feel like it's always, because it's such a prominent name, it's like Chris Pitts, Chris Hunt, Chris. You always have to. I always call people by both names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known a Christian growing up, but like he was never really Chris. And then Chris Scott's like
He
the
was
only
a
Chris I knew.
Guys, we gotta end this conversation. We're talking about too many names.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
We could go for like an hour and a half.
What if
Wait.
someone's name was just Chris?
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Have a great night.
Have a great, yeah. Gotta press that stop button. Hopefully it stops.